information is for international students who will be moving to Northern Cyprus or Kuzey Kibris in 2022. Okay, so if you are already there and you intend to bring in a brother or sister from Africa, this video is for you, and make sure you follow what I'm going to say here, because I think it is very important you know these things. First thing first, I have always said that before you move to Northern Cyprus, make sure you have a sponsor. Okay, make sure you have a sponsor. This is the reason, and it's very simple. North Cyprus is a small island and there are few jobs in Northern Cyprus. There are too many students moving to North Cyprus nowadays, alright? So if you are moving to Northern Cyprus with the intention of working and paying your own tuition fee or looking for a job, you might get a job and your pay may not be enough to pay your tuition fee, alright? And again, you might end up not even getting the job, because most of the jobs that are there in Northern Cyprus, are somehow pretty difficult, because most of them are, let me say, manual labor, alright? They are difficult for you to do. There are certain things you as a man cannot do in Northern Cyprus, and you as an international cannot do in Northern Cyprus, and you as a female or a lady cannot do in Northern Cyprus. So before you move to this island in 2022, make sure you have a sponsor. If you are going with the notion that I will go to school, make sure you have a sponsor. That the sponsor will be able to pay your tuition fee and of course maybe pay your accommodation for you. Then maybe the little money you get from your side job or your job can feed you. Alright, because if you go there with the intention, I will go to school, I will work and pay my tuition fee, don't listen to what most agents will tell you. It's a typical fat lie. Alright, there are no jobs, or let me not say there are no jobs, there are little or no jobs. Alright, that is the right term to use. Closing that point. Now, another very important thing you should know is that the spring semester is very short. There is a semester that is going to start in February. It is called the spring semester. It runs from February, March, April, and May. Alright, it is the spring semester and it is very short. Now, you are going to be writing 2 exams, the midterm exams and the finals, before May or June. So you have to be preparing, alright, even when you are still in Africa. If you have already know the program, of course, if you are moving, you must already know the program you are going to study. So I would say start looking at some of the materials from the net or from your old books when you are still in Africa. That is a better way of preparation, because when you go to school, you may have less time to prepare, especially if you are a master's student. You may have a lecturer that will bring up 10 presentations, alright, for you to do in one semester. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. It do happens like that. And of course, if you are a thesis student, again, it's going to be difficult for you, because most of the courses you are doing for masters, you are going to be doing a lot of research, alright? You are going to be checking a lot of things and maybe probably less time to read. Though checking those things is also an advantage for you because you are learning. So I would say start learning early, alright? When you go to school, you continue from there and do not delay, alright? When you go to school, read. Pay attention to lectures, because what the lecturers give you is what you are going to be given in your exams, alright? That is another point to note. I already talked about the sponsorship stuff. Now, let me go to the issue of a question. Someone asked me this question yesterday. The person said, Milton, my parents are afraid about Northern Cyprus, and I asked the person, why are they afraid? Is it because of the job issue? He said no, they are rather scared of the insecurity in Northern Cyprus. First of all, let me put it this way. North Cyprus is a very secured island, alright? Don't listen to people who term the place too bad. It is not bad, alright? The only problem in Northern Cyprus is that it is a small country and there is a lot of influx of students. A lot of international students are moving to Cyprus nowadays because probably it's visa free or something, especially for us Africans, alright? So a lot of people are moving there and making it congested. So if you are to move to North Cyprus, alright, know that it's a very safe country. First, when you move there as an international student, make sure you mind your business, stay out of crime, alright, and mind your business while in school. Avoid dangerous people, because everywhere we have people who are very stubborn and dangerous. Just avoid them. Then, I will say this again, choose your friends wisely in Northern Cyprus. Yes, there are cases where students will misbehave, being jailed, being disturbed and stuff like that. There are certain things I don't want to mention. year because it is against YouTube's policy. I hope you understand what I wanted to say. All right. So if you go to North Cyprus, always avoid crime. Pay attention to what you have been doing there or what you are going there to do, all right? Because if you involve yourself in dangerous activities, you will have yourself to blame, not your parents, all right? So pay attention and stay away from crime. That is what I can say. But for security, you can even leave your door open and nobody will enter in there. The only problem in North Cyprus is there are too many pets, all right? Maybe cats, dogs, and stuff like that. So it is not proper to leave your door open. But sometimes I used to sleep with my door very wide open, all right? There is no problem about that. Nobody will disturb you. Everybody will mind his or her business. Just follow your way, mind your business, pay attention to your studies, and that is it. There is no problem. Now Cyprus is very safe, okay? Now, let me bring this issue of accommodation. Someone again was asking me what type of accommodation. I think I received this question from someone in Colombia or something. I can't remember. I remember someone texted me from Colombia and another one from Armenia. All the same is, well, if you see the video or if you watch this video, know that I have always said that in my other videos about accommodation, you can check them on my YouTube channel and watch. Accommodation in North Cyprus is of two types. You can decide to go for on-campus accommodation or you can decide to go for off-campus accommodation, all right? Now, but for me, and according to my experience, I always advise international students to go for off-campus accommodation. First, off-campus accommodation is easy to navigate. Not that it's easy more than on-campus, because on-campus is highly secured, but there are off-campus accommodation that are highly secured, all right? You are the one to decide which one to take at which location. Again, off-campus accommodation is cheap compared to on-campus accommodation, all right? Because after you pay your first deposit, you pay probably a commission to an agent or whatsoever you pay, then you will start paying your rent. But on-campus accommodation, you may be charged a deposit, which everybody is charged a deposit, being it on or off campus, you understand? But looking at what you are going to be spending, according to my calculations and what others have told me, on-campus accommodation is going to be very expensive than off-campus. I had students in my apartment who ran away from the campus saying that it was expensive. So I did some calculation and I saw that it was actually expensive. So it all depends on you and what you want. If you really want to live in the school campus, have your privacy, it's still possible to get the on-campus accommodation and off-campus accommodation. But if you are someone who will be hustling and who is hustling and really struggling, I will advise you to get a cheaper apartment off campus, because I know what I'm saying, all right? It is going to help you a lot, and you will also be exposed to a lot of people to ask advice, to ask for jobs. But hey, when asking for advice, know who you ask information from in North Cyprus. I have always mentioned this here because I have come across people who are depressed, who are frustrated, whose dreams are crumbling because they cannot go to school. That is why I take my time to explain all of these things so that you can understand. There are a lot of people in North Cyprus who don't go to school. I have lived with them. I have seen some. Some even ask me, how did you survive? And I tell them it's God. So you have to be watchful and very careful of what you do in North Cyprus. All right. I already talked about the sponsorship. Get a sponsor. It is very, very important. Guys, if you do not have a sponsor, if you are self-sponsoring, do not go to North Cyprus. Your dreams will crumble, all right? Especially if you want to study and go maybe probably to the PhD level. If you go to North Cyprus without a sponsor, your dreams will crumble because you will not be able to pay the tuition fee, all right? Remember, when you are working, you are paid in Turkish lira, but if you are paying your tuition fee, you pay in euros. Now, let me go to the next point, which is the most important one. Most of you international students, I have realized most of us, we have phones, we have gadgets, but we don't use the internet. I don't know why. Probably we are lazy. I don't know why. There is something happening in Northern Cyprus now with the currency, which is the Turkish lira. When I was in Northern Cyprus, the currency was a little bit better and I thought it was not even good, but now the situation is worse. I have friends who are contacting me and saying they haven't eaten because of the inflation stuff or whatsoever is happening with Turkey. I do not know. But know that Turkey is the one controlling North Cyprus. So anything that affects Turkey directly or indirectly, North Cyprus is also being affected. So now, the Turkish lira has dropped until I do not even understand. It's like €1 now is around 7 Turkish lira or something. But When I was there, 1 euro was around 4 Turkish lira, 5 Turkish lira maximum before I left. So you have to know that before you move to North Cyprus now, the lira has dropped drastically and the economic prices of goods are rising. Cooking gas that we used to get for 50, 60 Turkish lira before I left, I was told now is double the amount of money. So before you go, but it's still cheap as compared to most European countries in terms of feeding, alright, groceries and stuff like that. It's very cheap to live in Northern Cyprus because you are using the Turkish lira, which is the lower currency compared to the big figures like euros, dollars and pounds, alright. But you should know that the currency has dropped drastically. Now, your feeding habit has to drop, or you have to add more money to your feeding habit. So looking at your budget, if you still do not have the required amount that you will need, there is a video on this YouTube channel I did, I think 2 months ago, about the total amount of money you will need to study in Northern Cyprus as an international student. I summed everything up from stage 1, stages by stages, also that most students, because I received a lot of messages from students telling me agents are taking millions from them, deceiving them. One even came telling me that an agent was taxing her 2.5 million, telling her she will pay 4,000 euros, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to calculate everything, putting into consideration your quarantine, all right, your quarantine fee, your government fee, and all those things. The video is on my channel. Check it and watch it. Again, understand that as you are going to North Cyprus, there is something called quarantine. Quarantine, for you who don't know, means that you are going to be isolated for a certain period, I think it's 2 weeks, that which is 14 days after you arrive in Northern Cyprus, to make sure that you are COVID-19 free. All right, you have to pay for that. There is a fee you have to pay for that. There is a fee you have to pay for a wristband. All right, so put all of this into consideration and consider your budget. If you see that it's okay, you get your accommodation off campus or on campus, because you are going to be taking your quarantine in your accommodation or in a hotel. But if you decide to take your accommodation in a hotel, it is going to stress you after your quarantine is over, because you will still need to move out of the hotel to go look for an accommodation where you will be living and studying. So I would prefer, if you have somebody you trust or somebody you think can get an accommodation for you or share with you, pay immediately and secure that one, so that when you reach North Cyprus, you give them the address, you go to your accommodation and avoid unnecessary movement. All right. Remember now, so many places there is havoc everywhere, so people are trying to be safe. I hope you get it. So these are some of the things I thought I should share with you as you prepare yourself, because I know there are a lot of international students who are moving to Northern Cyprus. Just be careful. Take the advice very seriously, because like I said, I always say this. Before I moved to North Cyprus, there was nobody to teach me all of these things I'm teaching you guys, all right? I didn't know there was anything like YouTube. I was so naive to the point that I didn't even know anything. But nowadays, it is well. We learn every day, all right? So for you, make sure you watch, implement all the strategies, and you move in there. If an agent is deceiving you, this is the channel for you to watch and gain some of the things nobody even told me, all right? Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much. If you go to North Cyprus, remember I said, hey, pay attention to your studies. Until we meet again in another one.